You ever notice that weird rhythm that big changes have? It's like you're grinding away for what feels like forever, and nothing seems to be happening. And then, boom, all of a sudden, everything changes at once. It's kind of like planting an oak tree, right? For years, it's just this little sapling. Then one day you look, and it feels like a giant tree just popped up overnight. So, yeah, let's dive into this thing, this growth paradox. This whole idea is captured perfectly in this one line from Ernest Hemingway's novel, The Sun Also Rises. It came out way back in 1926. A character gets asked, "Hey, how did you go bankrupt?" And his answer, it's just brilliant. He says, two ways, gradually, and then suddenly. And that right there, that's the mystery we're going to unpack today. Okay, so Hemingway was talking about something negative, right? Financial ruin, a total collapse. But here's the question. Does this pattern only apply to things falling apart? What if it's actually the blueprint for how everything changes? Our careers, our health, our relationships, both the good stuff and the bad? All right, to really understand that suddenly moment, we've got to look at the gradually part first, because there's this quiet, invisible engine humming away just beneath the surface, and it's driving the whole show. And that engine, it's called the compounding effect. The easiest way to think about it is like a savings account. You get a tiny bit of interest, right? But then that little bit of interest starts earning its own interest. It's a really slow, quiet process at first. But over time, man, those small, consistent gains just build and build on themselves, and they create these huge long-term results. So where does it all begin? Well, it starts with something that seems totally insignificant. Just a single, tiny choice. Like making one extra sales call a day, or practicing guitar for just 10 more minutes. Or maybe it's choosing to actually listen to someone instead of just waiting for your turn to talk. But here's the key. That one tiny action has to be repeated with discipline, day in, day out. And let's be honest, this is the hard part. This is the part that feels boring. It's where patience becomes a legit superpower, because you're not going to see the progress from one day to the next. It's practically invisible. You just have to trust the process. But if you stick with it, that long, quiet buildup of daily effort starts to gain momentum. See, each small action stacks on top of the one before it, and it keeps stacking until the whole thing hits a tipping point. And that's the suddenly. It just becomes this unstoppable force. But here's a really crucial detail about this engine. It's completely neutral. It doesn't have a preference. Compounding doesn't care one bit if your habits are good or bad. It just takes whatever you're feeding it and multiplies it, for better or for worse. I mean, just look at how this plays out. It's like a two-sided coin. On the growth side, in your career, maybe you focus on getting just 1% better each week. That slowly builds this reputation for being reliable, and then suddenly these amazing doors just swing open. But on the flip side, the decay side, think about health. Chronic sleep deprivation, night after night, slowly chips away at your ability to make good decisions until one day you just burn out. It's the same with relationships, right? They don't usually end because of one huge fight. They slowly fall apart because of hundreds of tiny missed connections. See? Compounding is always working. There's a great quote from an executive coach, Bruce J. Kramer, that just nails this feeling we all have. He said, at first, nothing happens, and then suddenly, everything happens. I mean, that's the whole paradox right there in one sentence, isn't it? For the longest time, it feels like all your effort is just disappearing. So if this whole pattern is so fundamental to how things work, why are we always so surprised by the suddenly part? Why does it always catch us off guard? Well, it turns out our own brains are kind of playing a trick on us. Here's the simplest way to put it. We're wired to see fireworks, not sunrises. Our brains are built to notice big, dramatic, sudden events. The fireworks, the lightning strike. It's an old survival instinct. Our ancestors had to notice the snap of a twig or the flash of a predator to stay alive. They weren't really designed to track the slow, patient creep of a sunrise. And because of that ancient wiring, we tend to overestimate the importance of one single big, heroic moment. And at the same time, we massively underestimate the value of making small improvements day after day. We're always looking for the shortcut, right? The one big breakthrough. So when we don't get immediate results from our small habits, we lose patience. We think, this isn't working, all while the real progress is happening quietly beneath the surface, completely hidden from view.
Okay, but here's the good news. Just understanding this pattern gives us a huge advantage. It means we can stop looking for those shortcuts, and instead, we can learn how to consciously put this incredible engine of compounding to work for us.
And the strategy is actually pretty simple. First, you just choose one small positive habit. That's it. Step two, you start thinking of your daily effort like you're making a deposit into your own future. And you have to make that deposit every single day. Third, and this is probably the most important part, you have to trust the process, even when it feels totally boring and like nothing's happening. And finally, you just let it go. Give it time and let the quiet magic of compounding take over. And please, do not underestimate the power of these tiny gains. Think about it. If you just focus on getting 1% better each week, that daily effort is so small you'll barely even notice it. But the cumulative effect of that over a whole year, wow, it's absolutely profound. It can literally reshape your skills, your health, your whole sense of confidence. Okay, so let's bring this all home. What's the big takeaway here? What are the key things to remember from all this? All right, I think it boils down to three main ideas. First, overnight success is a myth. Real success isn't something you find, it's something you build, one small, consistent brick at a time over years. Second, compounding is always on. It never sleeps. It's a neutral force that's just going to multiply whatever you feed it, positive or negative. And third, and this is so important, your small daily habits, that's your strategy. The future you're going to live in is being built right now by the tiny choices you make and repeat every single day. And that really just leaves us with one final question to think about. Knowing everything we've talked about, that every small choice is a deposit and every tiny habit is shaping the future you will actually have to live in. What future are you, gradually and deliberately, building for yourself today?